I'm an independent designer. I did 3 years of fashion design at college, 3 years at university, and I started my own business. And today I thought it would be interesting to tell you about how many times and how many different ways you can get robbed as an independent startup brand if you want to do that. In case any of you have this genius idea to do that to yourself. I had over years, I had many times I've been robbed, and I thought I'll share my top 3 favorite ones with you. So first way of theft is physical theft by stylists or photographers. I've been many times when like my pieces been taken by photographers or stylists or whatnot, but this one I lost so many pieces, and I've seen a lot of designers opt out for this option because, you know, as a startup it's a bit cheaper to do that. So there's many of those. So there was a duo of photographer and model. They do like travel around like a Bali or all sorts of places, and they for like services they'll like take your pieces, organize everything, you know, photo shoot, videos, well, not what you need, and they'll send the pieces back to you, pay them sometimes quite a bit, but it's still cheaper than you organizing it yourself, you know, and you would never be able to afford that, to ship, like organize it yourself, pay for shipping everyone to Bali or, you know, whatever, and doing shit like this. So it's definitely a cheaper option to work with people like this. And there's lots of legit people out there. Unfortunately, there's in this spectrum, there's lots of people that are just scamming people. And honestly, do your research, try to email people, maybe message people, because my specific case, I looked at the website, I looked at the Instagram, and they all look great. Price was like somewhere in the middle, so I was like, oh yeah, okay, that's good. I looked, they worked with like actual legit companies, like, you know, I did like the basic level research, but I didn't contact anyone. I never thought that they could just scam me and steal my pieces. So these are like half scammed me, so I can't get over it. You pay them deposits, send the pieces, and I send them loads of clothes. I send them clothes that they were made for these shoots, and I was going to do like more e-commerce shoots when I get them back, but I was like, I literally finished them last minute, and these are the only photos that I would ever get of these people unless I make them again. So I sent them pieces, I sent them deposit, and for a bit they disappeared. Like they were not replying for like, I feel like solid 2 weeks, and I started already thinking, okay, I got fully scammed, I'm getting nothing out of it. But then they started replying, and they sent me some like rough images. So I was like, okay, maybe they're just very unorganized, which is already bad, but at least I'm going to get something at some point. What I wanted from them was like campaign on like locations, e-commerce, and a video, and they did like a after party. So with these I can go a little bit out of it at least, so I wasn't fully scammed, but it's just shit quality content I got. So the e-commerce photos, they're like, you know, flat imagery for a website. They were tragic, they were unusable, they were not even able to be edited. Purely, they didn't give a shit. Tragic, unusable. I could have never used them, even though I paid them. You can't really argue with them, really. Videos, they gave me shit videos. Some of them are like, well, I don't think I ever used any of these videos. The e-commerce, they're like campaign photos. Well, right, some of them I used, some of them I had to like edit and retouch and Photoshop myself to make them usable. So I was like, oh, at least something. But at the end of it, they got my pieces. That was never discussed before. Apparently, they do that all the time, so they should have known. They go to Bali, and then after the shoot, they're telling me, oh, to ship your pieces back, you need to pay us £600 extra. I was like, what? For like shipping? But I'm like, but you shipped them back with you. You took them with you in suitcases, and that was not an issue. And now it's an issue to bring them back. Was the crack. So I was like, no, I'm not paying you £600. Are you mental? So they just left my pieces in Bali, and I never got the pieces back. I was arguing with them so long. I was trying to even block the payments through the bank, but it was really difficult because even when I had contracts, and you might think like, oh, you should have signed a contract. I had a contract with them, but if you're a small startup and you don't have money to actually sue these people, they were like partly registered in Italy, partly something. It's like, how am I chasing them through it wasn't enough money for me to be chasing them cross countries. Unfortunately, as a small startup brand, you just need to accept your flaws. And then when I start research, I started looking, I was commenting on, I was harassing them online. That's the only resort I had. So I started messaging people, and I started looking at their every single photo. Like I scroll way back, and I've seen in comments that they actually did that to other designers. So if you scroll to, you know, whenever you do something like this, scroll through every message, look at every comment. And when I contacted that person from the comments, and they said like, yeah, she actually didn't even got anything out of them to just scam. I think she got her pieces at the end, but she didn't get her money back, and she didn't get any imagery. It was just like a shit show. So that's number one. Could be worse, but I sent them a lot of pieces, so I lost my bags are floating somewhere in Bali. You might find them because they just abandoned this stuff. How unprofessional and so shit, and honestly burning hell to people like this. Second way how you can get robbed as an independent designer is job application theft. I don't know. So long story short, after university, I did some like freelance work, and I was like, okay, I did like few smaller freelance jobs. I started applying for like actual design jobs. I just look online, applying. I went through like some companies. I went through like different stages of interviews when you need to like create something. Initially, I didn't thought anything about it. I apply for a job, you send them your portfolio, look at it, you do some jobs, you didn't get a job, whatever, there were better people. I didn't have much experience I didn't thought much about it. But then a few months later, I was just like looking on the website of that brand I was applying to work for like shopping purposes. I was just looking what's there to buy. And I was like, oh, well, that's very interesting. And I know sometimes people think like, oh, no, it's not similar. It's not that. I'll let you judge that. I'll post my freelance work that I did for somebody. So it wasn't for my own brand, but that was in my portfolio. And the things that I found on our website while I was shopping. So there was a couple came across, and it was like 3 months 4 months after I applied for that job that I didn't get. So things like this happen. You apply for jobs, design jobs, they just steal your work. And again, if you don't have money to actually sue them, what can you do? I know nowadays a lot of people go to social media and you get like something out of it this way. But back then, it's been years ago, so I couldn't really do anything. And because it wasn't maybe if it was like for my brand specifically, I'll feel differently. But because it was like something I got paid for it, to do it for somebody else, it's very annoying because clearly you didn't give me a job, but you thought my work is good enough to be on your website. So what's the actual problem? But later on, that was quite recently, I think like last year, I've heard people saying that this is an actual method for like more of a fast fashion brand, because this was a fast fashion brand. They put applications out for design job purely for that. So people apply, they see their portfolio, they steal their ideas, but the job, nobody gets a job. There's no job to be given. They're not employing anyone. So apparently that's a scam that's going on within fast fashion companies. And to be fair, because I did that quite soon after I graduated, it really crushed me, and I never applied for a design job again. I just abandoned the idea of working for somebody, because I was like, oh, so what if I keep applying for jobs? I'll apply to like 100 companies or something and might not get any of those jobs, but my work will be just floating here, there, and everywhere. And I heard from like quite a lot of people that this happens to them. So really unfortunate, really annoying, and horrible towards like young creatives. You can't even safely apply for a job, because what do you even do with that? And these companies know it. They know they don't have money to sue them. So it's one of those. So I have not applied for any job where I had to submit portfolio for like 10 years. So recently I applied for a job again, but also this happens to me again, that I see in a couple months on this brand's website pieces from my portfolio. That's it. I'm leaving a fashion industry. I'm just leaving this whole idea, because this is just tragic. So I literally did that once years ago. Like, I don't know, maybe around 10 years ago, maybe less. And I did that recently again. It took me 10 years to build the confidence to apply for a job again. And I have lots of cases like this. But for last example of how you can get robbed as a designer, I do a lot of like at the moment, but I used to do a lot of like stylist collaborations for like, I don't know, photo shoots or like red carpet events, whatever. I don't live far from London. I just never thought to like go and drop it myself. I just posted, because you could post next day delivery, and I never had the issue done 100 times back and forth. And sometimes they use it, sometimes not, but they always send it back. Always 99% stylists will send your pieces back and you'll get them back. That was another opportunity like this. I think that was about like a year ago, and since then I kind of like, I feel like that was my last show to working on my own brand, and I took a pause after that because this was just too much. So I released like new pieces. I did like a drop of my new bags, and there was like few one-off pieces that I did for editorials. Thank God I took photos and videos myself first, so at least I have actual nice professional imagery of it. But so I did some stylists reached out. I worked with her before, so I packed loads of stuff for her. Because if I already know the stylist, I know they're gonna send it back. So I packed loads of stuff for her, like loads of bags, all their pieces. I'm pretty sure there was like all their pieces, like dresses, tops, silk scarves, everything. I packed in a parcel, sent it to her. Next day delivery, blah blah blah. Next day, like I was checking it because it was quite short deadline, so I knew she needed that by that day. So if she didn't receive it on time, then basically she couldn't try it on the person that I was going to be tried on. So and I see, oh, it was misdelivered. So there was nobody there. So I messaged the stylist and I was like, oh, there was nobody there. They're gonna try tomorrow again. Like, what was the plan? Is gonna be someone there? And she's like, what? The people, we were there all day in the studio. Nobody came to deliver anything. So I straight away contacted Royal Mail about it. So they knew this parcel was not lost. It wasn't unclaimed. It's not like there was no interest in this parcel. Straight away, I was in contact with them that this needs to be delivered. Where is this? Why was it misdelivered? Why was there no note left if it was misdelivered? So it was back and forth. They said they would deliver it, but they passed that. They didn't deliver it. The stylist didn't need it anymore. So I contacted the Royal Mail again saying, okay, they don't need it anymore. Can you just send it back to me? Because the person doesn't want it anymore. You don't need to try to deliver again, whatever you're doing. They don't need it. Send it back to me. And I did pay the online thing. So when you book online, the delivery, you put all your details anyway. So I have my details, but I did put details on top of the bag, like the return details. I always put on top of the parcels anyway. It was very wishy-washy. They were like, no, they don't do that. If 18 days nobody claims it or something, and I was they will automatically get sent back. And I was like, but you don't need to wait 18 days. Just send it back to me. Nobody will come to claim it. I am the sender. Receiver doesn't need it anymore. Send back. They were like very annoying. You would get these automated messages 18 days. So I was like, okay, fine. In 80 days it will get shipped to me. I kept checking on it because it was big parcels, loads of, like, basically all my pieces were in there, and nothing happened. 18 days passed. I don't see any return notifications. I don't see the tracking showing anything different. And since then it was a roller coaster. I think it was 3 to 6 months. I was talking with Royal Mail back and forth. Can they send it back? Blah blah blah. At some point I got communication saying, oh, they need to open the parcel before they return it to me to see the check for like a sender or something. And I literally talking to these people, replying to them, I am the sender, and also told them straight away there's no need to open the parcel because I put the return details on top of it. Also, when I book it online, there's a QR code, and I'm sure that QR code is connected to do all the receiver and sender details because it's been booked online and that's a requirement. But they were wishy-washy, and since that message that they have to open it to check I'll try to find these emails in here, like they literally said that I don't have any communication. It'll be like months. I think the stylist was trying to contact them as well. Nothing. At some point, it was so difficult to have any type of communication with them. They were just ignoring me, blah blah blah. I literally told them, like, you stole my pieces. You stole them. Like, why would you say you're opening? And after that email, so you need to open it. There was no sign of this parcel, and then it's randomly lost. And I couldn't get compensation. It was too difficult. I raised claims many times. The claims, then when I contact someone, oh, you need to raise a claim. I given them the number. When I have that, I raised a claim. They're saying this claim doesn't exist. It was shush, so I got nothing out of it. And I kind of let it go. I was like, oh, whatever. Sad, tragic. And a few months after, the model that was in the shoot, she posted a photo of it. And I was like, oh, I felt sad. I reposted it saying like, oh, RIP, lost dress. And one of my followers on Instagram messaged me, I bought this dress on Vinted. I was like, what? You bought what? And it's one piece. I only made one because it was quite new. Because it's a really complex design, I was only going to make, like, I put it on a website, but it was only made to order. So I knew I only made one. There's no way. The pieces. And I did ask her, like, I believe you, but can you show me an image? Because I kind of I feel like my mind won't be at peace until I know it's definitely that dress. Maybe something similar someone made. I don't know. She sent me the photo and I was like, this is the dress. So I asked her, who did you buy it from? Because she said the seller had lots of other of my pieces that she wanted to buy, but the seller said they were sold already. So she gave me detail of the vintage seller. I reached out to the vintage seller. Vintage seller was really wishy-washy and she didn't want to tell me where she obtained the pieces from. But then I started being more like aggressive with her and she told me she got it from some auction house in Manchester or something. That's where my investigation was going. So I found out somehow whoever stole it from Royal Mail sold it to I'm assuming they're stealing parcels and they're selling them to resell them. And you would think like, oh, Royal Mail. And you might think like, oh, I was lost and found. Royal Mail resell parcels. First thing, I was in communication with them since the day when I sent like probably 50 if not 100 of emails. So this parcel could have never been in a pile of lost and found to resell to like auction houses. Also, the parcels on the website, specific parcels that you pay for the like next day delivery by 1 o'clock, they do state it themselves. They never end up in the lost and found. So these are kept forever or for like, I don't know, maybe years before they are disposed of. So these parcels, the specific next day delivery signed for, don't go to the resale pile. So how do I have ever end up in there? So I think now I was literally messaging them though, like, you say you don't resell those parcels. Where is this parcel? How can you not locate it? I never heard back. So I think and I told them that as well. I think someone within a Royal Mail sold it. But they opened the parcel, they checked on the website. There's lots of bags and all these bags on my website they're like mid-level prices, but you would think you can get like quite a lot of money from it because there were lots of unique pieces. So someone opened this parcel and thought it was taken and I never seen it again. Someone was like went down chain of traveling, getting resold until found out the girl that bought it. She was so nice, the one that reached out to me. She was like, oh, I didn't know it was like robbed and legally resold. So she was like, oh, if you want, I'll ship it back to you. But the thing is, so nice of her that she reached out. She told me, at least I know where it ended up and I know someone that I actually appreciated is wearing it and using it. So at least that. So because she reached out to me, I could peacefully let it go, knowing that I shouldn't look for it anymore because I can never find it. Like, it's been sold God knows where in the world. So So that was recently, and that would be my third and last one for this video. If you want to hear about more warning theft ideas for startup brands, let me know. And if you had any issues like this, drop it in the comments, because I would be interested to join you. I'll join you in the sadness, and we can all join the misery of starting your own fashion business in this economy.